while preparation, we'll be learning about, or I have taken a class also to tell about what is policy, okay, uh, or how you can define policy or public policy. And we also had in class about different type of policy, kind of policies, which we'll be doing it in detail also. Then we'll be having classes for stages of policy, or we will also be learning about few national level policies. Uh, National level, I mean, we'll be talking in both term, like for the critical ministries or for the critical component of government, like health policy and education policy. And we'll be also reading or detailing some of the policies which are uh, being done solely through central government, like union list. And then we'll also be discussing some state policies where there is no intervention from the central government is there. And then we'll be studying about some policies which lies under concurrent list, that how central government and state government divided their role even in concurrent policy area. Okay. And probably we'll be also learning about some innovative policies, new and innovative policies which recent government has tried to bring change in their respective state and center. So all these things we study here for public policy entrance exam. That doesn't mean that you will be getting actually questions from these classes. It is all about knowing where you are going to be, uh, for what you are going to study, and where you will be working, and what are your objective of learning this particular or doing this particular course. So even in order to do the questions, you will be encounter with a lot of similar things, like your questions might be coming from health or justice or social equity or poverty or education. So some of the discussion will directly help you in doing that question, and some of the discussion will actually make you very clear, that how to actually write the answer. So when you see the paper, like if you just see the paper, the sample paper which was provided last year, and last year they made this change that there will be two component. Just one or two classes has been done, and we'll be repeating that. I just introduced few topic, and that is already recorded, Ms. Agro. So you don't worry about that. We'll be repeating that. We'll be have a separate class, or we'll repeat that class again. So this particular sample paper was given last year after the like good change from the previous year entrance procedures. Like last year, they remove the interview part, and you will just have part A and part B, and part B will be subjective in nature, part A will be objective. And one other thing that they did, the kind of question they used to ask in general awareness was very different before. I'll show you the some of the previous paper also. Just you can check the papers. Let's say, or even this one. This was the sample question paper for I think 2020. So you can just see that there is to be direct fact-based question for GK. Huh? The period of World War II, health expenditure in the government in the past 10 years as per the percentage of GDP. Huh? Which of the following is the subject of state list? So earlier there used to be such kind of questions, and there used to be some thought-based question also. I'll show you example of those kind also. but they made a very significant change last year because they knew that the kind of crowd they want in their class is very diverse. Not everyone is very uh, good at GK and general awareness because you are seeking students from all disciplines. So if you'll see here, the paper from 2016, you'll find a lot of questions, such type of question, which was very thought based. And there is to be questions based on uh, economic theory or politics, from politics also. So these kind of questions were there. I'll show you the exact the question where hmm, like this very small caselet. Okay. So such kind of questions used to be there, and this paper was also very good. Matlab, we used to enjoy teaching those concepts also. So we'll be doing these paper also in our class so that if any change happens and if they go back to the previous type of question, we'll be doing it easily. So last year they made change that in even for the general awareness, they are not asking direct facts and figures. You can just see that they are giving you a passage which is dealing with some of the important aspect of governance or society, and then they are asking general knowledge question based on this. So probably this particular passage is also you can consider that this is RC based, but there are some question which is directly from general knowledge. Like in this from this passage, they have asked you this question and probably not this one, this question or some other questions which are not the fact of these questions are not there in the paragraph. So they have actually merged verbal and general awareness together so that they can check your comprehension, ability to comprehend the paragraph, and also are you able to relate some past event to the current discussion or contemporary to the paragraph discussion or not. So I'll forward this paper to all of you. You can just check and match the answers also from me. And they have also given the answer even. So this type of question, they converted the paper into a test of comprehension and your general reading and the way you see the society, the way you know the society, and the way you know all the political thing or policy thing that is happening around. So this is how they have converted their part one. And part two, if you'll see part two, uh, there will be two case studies. And this is not case studies actually. Like there is a reference reading, the sample passes. And if you'll read a little, you'll see that there's a lot written about education and how policy education should be the purpose of education is and how policy should include the purpose of education in its uh, implementation or management. So this particular passage has been taken from one particular chapter, extracted from a chapter A, Collective Vision by Chin Vinay. But the question they have asked is not or should not be solved with the things written there in paragraph only, because the paragraph is actually to bring everyone on the same page, because all of a sudden if you ask any particular subjective question, you may all write in different directions, but the paragraph actually defines the direction, defines the total area of the concerned subject, so that you can be bounded to that area and answer the question in within those boundary only. So now if we'll read the uh, question, drawing from the passage, critically argue what you think constitutes the purpose of education and how this purpose can be expressed in a policy document about the higher education in India. So see, uh, there are three, four critical component or critical aspect of this question. Uh, if you'll not pinpoint that or focus that, your answer cannot be, matlab, will not bring good marks to you. So the first thing, that drawing from the passage, that doesn't mean that you have to answer from the passage. And drawing from the passage, that means you can take the uh, idea from the passage and then critically argue. Critically argue, that means you have to also reason. First, you need to write, constitutes the purpose of education. What are the things that we need to put as a purpose while making policy or education policy, and what are the purpose that education should have, like what are the goals of education, that you have to write point wise, and you also have to write the argument behind that. So critically you need to argue that, and then all these purposes that you are writing here, how you will express this in policy document, like when we are drafting policy, what are the things you will be writing there so that it can be implemented in higher education domain of India. So, and another part of the question is, what would be the relevance of distinction between, just a second. What would be the relevance of distinction between formal skill development and educational development in such policy? And this is the second part of the question. So basically you have three parts. First, you have to point out the purpose of education, and you also need to write the argument behind that, why you are writing that. Second, how those purpose of education you will be putting it in a policy document so that it can be implemented or understood by the policy implementer or the different institution which are actually will work for the policy. And the third thing, that uh, relevance of distinction between skill development and educational development in this policy. So there must be a distinction. Like sometimes we say that our graduates are not employable, or sometimes we say that our graduates are not intellectual. So there need to be a distinction. So how will you put that distinction, and what is the relevance of that? So if you'll write these three parts, you'll be getting almost full marks here. And if you'll not write, and you will just write it like you write in your university exams, that just filling up the pages, you'll not be getting any marks. So the second part will have two such questions. Second question is also very interesting. If you'll, I'll not be reading all this because sometime later we will be solving these questions in class also. Right now, I'm just giving you an insight that what kind of questions will be there and how you need to prepare yourself for the paper. So this particular passage is also taken from some of the book or article, and it actually again gives you an area or binds you for a particular aspect in which you have to talk about in the question. So this particular paragraph is talking about uniform civil code and what is the problem, and what are the good things with this uniform civil code. And when you read the question, you will find that question is not, the question cannot be answered through the fact and figures which is given there in the paragraph. You need to write it by yourself. So again, understanding the question is very important. And why I'm saying this, because last year I think a good number of people apply for NLSIU MPP, and only I think 40-45 students got qualified for that, because the criteria they had made, that there will be a part A and there will be part B, there will be a minimum marks to qualify part A and there will be minimum marks to qualify part B, and if somebody qualifies both, then only the weighted score will decide that who will get admission and what will be the rank of your uh, what will be the rank. So a lot of students, either they could not qualify A or they could not qualify B, because the question type is very different. They have not seen such kind of question before, and they did not practice as per the questions are. So And many people who have I've seen in our students also, many people could not qualify the B because they did not write test answers, and they did not participated in answer writing part of our classes. So I'll just also request you, if you want to qualify the exam, you need to attend all the classes, at least policy classes you should attend, where you'll be also discussing or doing this subjective writing class also. So just read the question and you'll see the difference, that how they have actually made the question very difficult to answer. What they have written: critically reflect on, and just read the word reflect on the aspects of legal pluralism in India and the debates on the merit and demerits of implementing uniform civil code in contemporary India. So when it is saying reflect, that you need to write your own reflection on this, that what you see in that. So first you'll write the aspects of legal pluralism, and then you will also write what do you see about them. You don't have to take a side, or you don't have to take a pick what you do like from this particular situation, but you just write all the aspects that you know and your reflection on that. And in reflection, you may choose to support or reject the idea, or elaborate, either being biased to that idea or unbiased, aligning to that idea, or you may disalign yourself from the idea. But the reflection should be visible, like your answer should be as visible as that somebody who is reading the answer should see or can see that these are the aspects of legal pluralism you are talking about, and this is what your reflection is. Second, debates on merits and demerits. So many people, what they will write, they will just write the merits and demerit, but merit and demerit of UCC. But what they are saying, it's not your idea of merit and demerit. You just you must have seen or uh, read about merit and demerits given by different person and different group of people. So you need to find out those merits and demerits which has been given or provided as an logic for UCC, or somebody who has put this logic against UCC. So for or against whatever the demerit and merit they have talked about, after writing that, then you'll reflect from your side that this was the merit somebody was talking about, and some organization talks about, and I see this in this. And you can also say that some particular sect or segment is talking about this demerit, but I do see in this way. So again, your answer should be structurally visible, that how you are writing as per the question. And if you write it in very confusing way, in vague way, that you are just writing the merits and demerits of the UCC, then you will not get good marks. So because what they are saying, don't write it by your side, that what are the demerit and demerits. You think and recall the merits and demerits which has been given in the debate, and then reflect upon each one of them, that what do you see about that. So this is how they have actually made the paper very differently. And getting good marks here is very difficult, because if you not read the question properly, if you not find what is being asked in this question, so you'll never understand the rubric. Rubric means you'll not understand for what marks has been allocated. So if you can just see that if you write this part, you'll get some marks. You'll write this part, you will get some marks. You write this part, you'll get some marks. But if you'll write just merit and demerit from your side, you'll not be getting marks. So your answer should be structurally visible in a way that this is what the question is asking, and this is what I'm answering in the same, reciprocating the same expectations. Then when you'll go to the quant section, the questions are not from mathematics. The questions are mainly from data interpretation, but you need to actually explain your answer. So if you'll see this question, the following table provides information on employment situation in India per thousand distribution of usually employed by broad group of men. See, note, employment figures reported includes both principal and subsidiary status of the individuals. This is from this particular organization and website this has been taken. So these are the years and rural and urban, primary, secondary, tertiary, primary, secondary, tertiary. So all the data is given. Now, see, the question is, when one compares the employment situation of urban males to urban female, which is the following statement is true? Urban male and urban female. Okay, urban male and urban female. These two you have to compare. The employment of females in the primary sector is twice as much as the employment of urban males. So प्राइमरी सेक्टर में urban males to urban female, employment of females in the primary sector, this is 78. It's twice as much the employment of urban males in the same primary sector. So it is not double. So you need to write it that option A, 49 into 2 is 98, which is not equal to 78. That's why it is a wrong statement. So in the same way, you have to actually provide the solution. You cannot just mark it, this is the right answer. Or you can just, if you want to ignore, if you don't have time, so if you don't want to write the wrong one or explain the wrong one, whatever the right one is, you need to explain that this is the data and this is why this particular statement is true. Okay, so you can ignore the wrong ones. Here, the average share of employment of rural males in both secondary and tertiary sector over the period. This. So here you have to actually calculate all. You will sum all the secondary and tertiary part, and then all the total parts, and then take it the average of all the years, and then you will find the percentage. So you have to write it. So the questions were very lengthy. So cutoff was not very high, but since there was a need to write it, so that's why the problem arises, or not the problem, the challenge was there to writing it. So not everyone is very pro in writing in short way. Either you'll write in very explained way, or like you have to find the way there so that you can just show your solution in minimum writing. Okay, because anyway you have to solve the question first and then you will write the solution, because you cannot do it in paper directly. So sometimes it's like I'll be solving the question first, and if I am getting the answer, then I'll write the solution. So this actually delays the process. So you need to practice in such way. But the point which I was trying to tell you is all the questions will have percentage, average, ratio, fraction, these as in your uh, fundamental tool to solve most of these questions. So I'm telling you again, all of you have like joined recently, and I haven't. I've always told you that you need to finish these chapters. So even if I'm not doing any class, and if you want to study that, you can do it by yourself, and we'll be having doubt class for you. So this particular 4 chapters are very important, and then we can read the chapter based on that, like profit and loss or simple interest, compound interest, because there might be question based on these also. And then you have the DI book which you can solve, and then we will have similar DI questions also, which are there in the exam specific seats. Okay, so this was the these were the 2 parts of the examination, and you have to qualify both. And again, you have to score good in any on one of these or both of these in order to get into the merit list. Okay. So this is all about the sample paper. I'll be giving this sample paper to you in next class. Whenever we'll be keeping this class, next class will maybe for policy only. Whenever we'll keep this class, we'll be discussing the case study of the second, not case study. It's like subjective answer writing of the second part of the paper. Okay. And again, what I was trying that here, we'll also be having class on constitution, because how constitution is has been developed and how still it plays a very guiding role for public policy. Okay? That you need to understand in a good way. That how constitution actually guides or provide rule for policy making. Okay, so